A chill seeped through the luxurious kitchen, a silence that felt heavier than the weight of the morning. Across the gleaming marble island, billionaire Jonathan Hale sat perfectly still. His piercing blue eyes, usually focused on the digital market reports on his tablet, were now fixed on a faint, bruised mark on his housekeeper's face. Mary was a woman of quiet efficiency. She moved through the Hale mansion, a ghost, her presence marked only by the sparkle of a freshly polished surface or the aroma of a perfectly brewed cup of chamomile tea. For 2 years, she had been a constant, a rock of reliability in the whirlwind of Jonathan's high-stakes life. She was never late. She never complained. But today, something was different. As she turned to leave, a stray beam of sunlight from the grand French doors caught her at a wrong angle. It illuminated a deep purple bruise blooming beneath her left eye. Her knuckles, clutching a tea tray, were white. "Mary," Jonathan's voice cut through the stillness, low and sharp. "What happened to your face?" She froze, her back to him. Her body language was a plea for him to drop it, to pretend he hadn't seen. "Nothing, sir. Just bumped into a cabinet. I'm a bit clumsy." "Turn around." His voice was no longer a question, it was a command. Reluctantly, she obeyed. The bruise was even worse up close, a jagged line on her cheek, a faint cut on her lip. When she moved her arm, he saw another faint mark, a red band peeking from under her sleeve. Jonathan's jaw tightened. "That's not from a cabinet." He rose, his tall frame looming over the island. "Who did this to you?" Mary's eyes welled up with tears, but she quickly shook her head. "Please, sir, don't ask. I'm fine." "No, you're not," he said, his voice a low growl. "You are not fine. Tell me, now." With a shaky breath, Mary finally confessed. "My husband," she whispered, the words a raw, painful release. He doesn't want me to work here. Says it makes me look weak. He got angry this morning when I tried to leave for work." Jonathan's fists clenched. "How long has this been going on?" She shook her head, tears streaming down her bruised cheeks. "Please, don't tell anyone. He'll be furious. I can't lose this job, sir. It's all I have. You can't keep protecting him, Mary," Jonathan insisted, his voice hardening. "I'm not protecting him," she cried. "I'm protecting myself. And my son." Jonathan froze. "You have a child. He's 7, she said, her voice barely a whisper. "I send half my salary to my sister every month so she can take care of him. If my husband knew." She trailed off, a sob catching in her throat. Jonathan had spent his life amassing power, but in that moment, he felt powerless against the pure malice and fear in the room. He was about to speak again when a loud, aggressive pounding shook the front door. Boom, boom, boom. Mary's body jolted, her eyes wide with terror as she stared at the front door. Her knuckles were white, her lips parted in a silent gasp. "It's him," she breathed, a quiet horror in her voice. "Mary, open the door now." A low, angry voice bellowed from outside. She backed away from the door, her hand instinctively rising to cover her bruised cheek. "He'll be so angry. I'm late. He always says I don't listen." Jonathan moved to stand between her and the door. "Stay here," he said, his voice rock steady. "I'll handle this." "No, please," she begged. "Don't make it worse. He'll come for me later. He always does." "Not this time," Jonathan said quietly. His face was a mask of cold determination. He pulled out his phone and made a call. "I'm calling security." Suddenly, a loud crash and a grunt from outside, followed by the heavy thump of footsteps on the polished marble floors. Jonathan's heart sank. Mary gasped, burying her face in her hands. "No, no, no." The kitchen door burst open. A man in his mid-30s, his hair disheveled and his shirt stained, stormed into the room. His eyes were bloodshot, his chest heaving with rage. "You," he bellowed, pointing a trembling finger at Mary. "I told you about working for him. Are you deaf?" 2 of Jonathan's security guards followed, one of them holding his bloody nose. He ran past the gate. "Sir," the tall guard panted. "Caught us by surprise." Jonathan raised a hand, silencing them. Mary cowered against the wall, her hands clenching her blouse. "Please don't hurt me," she whimpered. "You're coming home with me now," the man snarled, stepping forward. "You've embarrassed me enough, Mary. Acting like you're some rich person. You think you're better than me." Jonathan stepped forward, his polished shoes echoing on the tile. He stood directly between Mary and her husband. "That's enough," he said, his voice a low, chilling whisper. The man sneered. "Stay out of this. This is between me and my wife. Not anymore." Jonathan cut him off, his voice like steel. "You lost the right to call her your wife the moment you laid a hand on her. She's mine." The husband yelled, his face a furious red. "And no rich boy is going to tell me what to do." "Get him out of my house," Jonathan commanded his guards, his eyes never leaving the man's. The husband lunged forward, trying to get past Jonathan. "Don't you dare touch her," he screamed. But Jonathan was faster. He grabbed the man's arm and twisted it behind his back, forcing him to his knees with surprising strength. "You want to hit someone? Try me," Jonathan hissed, a deadly calm in his voice. He nodded toward his guards. "Call the police. He illegally entered a private residence, assaulted my staff, and is a threat to a person in my employ." "Yes, sir," the guard said, already on the phone. As the sirens wailed in the distance, Mary's body trembled. Jonathan looked back at her. "It's over, Mary. He won't hurt you again." But she shook her head, tears streaming down her face. "You don't understand. He'll find me later. He always does. I can't run forever." "You won't have to," Jonathan said, his tone firm but gentle. When the police arrived, he stood between them and Mary, protecting her until the man was handcuffed and led away. As soon as the front door closed behind them, Mary's legs gave out, and she sank onto a kitchen chair, finally allowing herself to break down. Jonathan knelt beside her. "Mary, listen to me. You are safe now. He's not coming back. He'll find a way," she sobbed. "He always does." "Not this time," Jonathan said. "I'll get you a restraining order, and if you want, I'll help you find a place to live where he can't touch you or your son." She looked at him, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Why would you do this? You don't even know me." Jonathan's gaze softened. "I've spent years building empires and making money, but if I can't protect the people living under my roof, then what good am I?" That evening, Jonathan drove Mary himself to a women's shelter. Before she got out, he pressed a sealed envelope into her hands. Inside was enough money for her to start over, and a note promising her a job whenever she felt ready to return. "Take care of your son," he said softly. "You don't owe me anything. You owe it to yourself and to him to build a better life." Mary's only response was to clutch the envelope to her chest, silent tears of gratitude streaming down her face. As Jonathan watched her disappear inside, he knew that this was a decision he would never regret.